Welcome to another edition of Mark's Inspiration. Glad you could join me here today. As always, smash that like button and subscribe. Today's topic is going to be words. Words are very powerful, but most people don't know the definition of words. I heard people throwing words around because they hear someone on the media saying it, and they use a word to classify a certain person. And our first word of the day is going to be misogyny. And I'm sure that my 1,664 subscribers, thank you very much to my wonderful people with the awakening minds, know who I'm talking about. They use this word against this man considerably. But let's look up and see what the word means. Because I see some interviews on the street that people are asking people what they think about this person. I'm not even going to say his name today. And they say he's misogynistic. Well, let's look up the word and see what it says. Many times they don't know what it even means, but they've heard other people say it, so they just repeat it. Misogyny. What is misogyny? Misogyny is a dislike or contempt for or ingrained prejudice against women. Dislike or of contempt. It also says hate. Not here, but one of the other definitions I looked up said hate. What is misogyny in simple words? This is Google. You can't always believe everything you hear on Google. Hatred. Okay, hatred of, aversion to, or prejudice against women. A culture that promotes violence and misogyny. Well, I've been called a misogynist, and I don't hate women. I've put my life on the line for women. More than once, I've defended women. But yet, I've been called a misogynist because I have traditional ideas about relationships. Isn't that amazing? Maybe you do too. But whatever your ideas are about relationships, and whatever your ideas are about women, whether they agree with mine or someone else's, aren't we allowed to have our own personal opinions and that we've developed through our life experiences about women, men, different races? Does it have to be hateful just because I believe that a certain group of people act a certain way? Now, that's not all of them, of course, but some of them do. I mean, I'm a white guy, and we have certain characteristics and attributes that some other races laugh about, and I really don't care, okay? I have friends from all different races. I've been all over the world, well, not all over, but a lot of places in the world, and I take those people for who they are and how they treat me. But yet there are characteristics and attitudes. I can think of certain races. For example, the Spanish, I can talk about those because my kids are half Spanish. Their mother was from Latin America. Okay, so they are more loving and warm, and they just have a different type of relationship. And now the women, in general, the mothers are more controlling, but they're also more relationship orientated, let's say, than us Caucasians. Now, is that prejudice, or is that just the opinion that I have from my experience with women, or not just women, but people in that culture? Now, would that be considered racism? Let me know in the comments what you think. I think we all form our opinions of different races, like the people in Dubai. What is that culture? I'm not sure. Is it Arabian culture? I should have did my homework before the show. But anyway, let's say the Russians. I know we have a preconceived notion about Russians. Actually, I was taught that in school. And then come to find out, when I went to the Ukraine and I met some Russians, guess what? They weren't like I was taught. So I was actually taught racism in school. But we're each going to have our own opinions of certain groups and races. And it's just the way it is. And we all have our different, me as a Caucasian, a white man, we all have our different characteristics and attitudes, which has been brought down through the generations. Now, if some other race picks that out, does that make them racist? Or is that just an opinion formed on the attitudes, actions, and characteristics of certain groups? I have found in my life that some of the people who complain about racism the most are extremely racist. They hate other cultures, especially the one they're talking about that they don't like. I don't really dislike any other culture or any other race. It doesn't matter to me. But now we've gotten into this deal where they're saying that people, let me see, how would I quote this without offending anyone? Some of the different genders, let's say that, they're actually saying, and correct me if I'm wrong, that if you don't comply with their pronouns, that you're like it's a form of racism. If you don't act toward them like they say you should act, and I don't believe in acting disrespectful or mean to anyone, but I don't believe I should have to change my vocabulary for certain groups of people because that's what they want. As I've stated many times, I was a hippie when I was younger and nobody changed their life and their vocabulary for me. And that was a choice that I made, or I felt like that's who I was. I was different from people. I wanted to be different. I felt unique. I still feel I'm different. I think we're all unique and special. But I tend to express my uniqueness in ways that the general population didn't. I didn't get a job like most people did, like all my family. It wasn't my way. Now, I don't expect you should treat me any differently because I've chose a different path from the masses. But we have people out there that will call you and I racist if we don't treat them how they want us to treat them, when that seems to change quite regularly how they choose to be treated and what they want to be called. Language is very powerful, so if we're going to use words too, we need to know what those words mean. And that's something else. For example, the word gay. It used to mean happy, but that word has changed to mean a person that is attracted to, and I could be wrong about this, that changes also, to the same sex or a different sexual orientation than the normal, what used to be the normal of a man and a woman, male and female. And even that's up for question now in some groups of people. But what I heard yesterday was the LGBTQ community, the gay community. There was a man testifying, I think it was in Congress, and he does not go along with all this gender, how do I say, gender business or gender identity push thing. The original gay movement, he felt like they've accomplished everything they wanted to accomplish, and all this other gender and this trans and all these things is like the radical part of the LGBTQ plus movement. And I'm not sure if he even identified with the plus on the end of the LGBT. As I've said before, I have gay clients, great people. I don't care what their sexual orientation is. And this, again, correct me if I'm wrong, but the rainbow flag, does it represent, okay, it represents gays, but the whole idea of gay is their sexual orientation, it seems to me. I mean, I don't care what people do in the bedroom, it's their business. But I don't understand what the push is, and I've never bullied a gay person. I have no desire to do that. And like I said, my gay clients, who I think a lot of, if they were with me and somebody was bothering them about them being gay, I would stand up for them. I guarantee you I would. Because they don't go out and try to push their sexual identity on other people. But I'm getting way off the topic here. That's a whole other topic, which is very dangerous to tread on nowadays. Like I said, I have nothing against whatever sexual orientation you decide to choose. It's not my cup of tea, but then again, what I do in the bedroom is probably not their cup of tea. But why is it anybody's business? I mean, why do I need you to accept me for being a heterosexual? I don't. I mean, I'm not really accepted in a lot of areas nowadays, it seems like. The straight, what we call cisgender. Now we're called cisgender, cis or whatever it is. I'm just even straight. How about this? I'm just a male, a white male who likes women. I like all different kinds of women. I like white women, I like Spanish women, I like black women, Asian women. It doesn't matter to me. It's how they treat me and if I'm attracted to them physically. I don't care what race they are. Like I said, they each have their different characteristics. I have young men, you hear them in the It's okay. They don't know I'm videoing. So, as I said, my kids are half Spanish. It's funny because to me, I guess I'm colorblind. To me, they don't look Spanish, but everybody else can tell they're Spanish. I don't pay any attention to it. It didn't matter to me that I married a Spanish woman. I would marry a black woman if I thought she was pretty and I liked her. I don't care. It doesn't matter. It's how they treat me. So I don't understand all this racism and whatever. I mean, I've been in other countries. I've been discriminated against because I was white. All right. I don't care. I mean, I got charged more money because I was white. I was a Caucasian. I was a gringo. That's just the way it is. You accept it, and if you don't like it, you get out of the country. You don't deal with those types of people. That's the way I dealt with it. That's just part of life. We're never going to get away from that. Actually, as a matter of fact, some of the people, the Indian people where I live, were made to ride in the back of the bus. Now, there was a logical reason for that because a lot of times they didn't smell good because they didn't wash. But even then, I know people up here throw a fit about that. But I understand that because they just lived a different lifestyle and they smelled bad. So they would make them ride in the back of the bus. Am I condoning that? No, I'm not. I'm just reporting the facts. I don't know if that still goes on now there or not. But we need to realize that words have an original definition, and we're getting so far away from that, we're actually changing to where it's like, I heard the other day that a man had a child by, no, men can't have children. At least what I was taught when I was a child, what men are, and women can't have sperm. So we have, men have a penis and women have a vagina. It's that simple. So I don't know where they're going with all this word confusion or that you can't identify what a woman is. Now, that's what I was taught by the government, by the people who supposedly knew, and that's what's been recognized for thousands of years. As far as I know, since we've been on this earth, since we've had language. So I don't understand what the push is now to change that. Hey, identify however you want to, but I don't believe we should change our language to accommodate you. And who cares? Identify with however you want to. I'll call you by your name if you like. So that's misogyny. What is the difference? And I've been called a sexist, and I'm not sure. Prejudice. That was the other word, because it says a person who is prejudiced against women. Let's look and see what prejudice is. Prejudice, here it is. It is an adjective, a descriptive adjective. I used to be an English teacher. Had an English school in Latin America. Believe that one? Yeah, that's true. Okay. Prejudice. Having or showing a dislike or distrust that is derived from prejudice. Now, I'm not sure when the last time I looked up that word, the definition of the word was, or if I ever did. A dislike or distrust. I've been called prejudice too, and I see other people being called prejudice also. But they're not really disliking a group or distrusting a group. They make evaluations. I heard someone say it this way one time. Okay, if I get bitten by, let's say, I've been bitten by a dog 5 or 6 times, different types of dogs, okay? But if I happen to get bitten by the same dog 5 times in a row, I'm more than likely not going to have much trust for that dog. Now, let's take this example when it comes to people. If I'm a person who lives in a bad area in whatever part of the world, and I get robbed by a certain group of people or type of people, let's say long-haired people, I may be a little distrusting of long-haired people. We categorize things. I mean, that serves us well. Does that mean all long-haired people are not to be trusted or they're dangerous? No, it doesn't. But I'm much more fearful of a Rottweiler than I am a Chihuahua, because one of them can do more damage to me than the other. So if I'm walking down the street at night and I meet 5 big men and it's a bad part of town, I'm of course going to be prejudiced against them, regardless of what color they are. Because those people, well, I'm going to distrust the situation. I'm going to be cautious because I know these people can hurt me, as opposed to if I met 5 small, beautiful, petite women. Now, is that prejudice? According to the definition, that's prejudice. Because I distrust these men because they have the ability to hurt me. But I don't distrust these women because they're not as likely to hurt me. Women are not as aggressive as men in general. So why should I be prejudiced against them? But many people use that word the same as they use misogyny or misogynistic. They don't like somebody, they have no idea what the definition means, so they throw it out there. Oh, he's prejudiced, he's misogynistic. Have they actually ever seen them distrusting of another group? Have they actually ever seen them being, back to misogynist, have they ever seen them being, let's go to misogynistic, seen this person be prejudiced against women or hateful towards women or do anything hateful to women? And that's a matter of judgment also. Because some people consider, for example, this. If I tell you that I like a traditional marriage or girlfriend, woman, I think a woman, this is what I want. A woman that stays home, cooks and cleans, takes care of the house, and I go out there and work my ass off, and I provide a wonderful life for her. Nice car, maybe we have kids, I provide good schooling for the kids, we have food, clothes, she's got everything she needs, okay? I've been called misogynistic and prejudiced for that, misogynistic for that, because that is my preference. Now, what is misogynistic about me wanting my woman to stay at home, and it's not like she's forced to stay there, it's her choice, and taking care of her and working hard to provide her with a wonderful, comfortable life. But yet, many people see that as being misogynist. And then, if you make jokes about women, and don't tell me that women don't make jokes about how men are. There's one right here, mansplaining. Okay, and then what do men say? Womanese. Women speak womanese. It's not that big of a deal. It's just we joke around about each other, okay? But some people see that as hateful and misogynistic. I think we're too easily offended these days. But it just amazes me how people have too much time on their hands. I say we need a war. I don't want a war. That's kind of a joke. See, I gotta back that up too. Oh, he says we need a war. He believes in war. He's a warmonger. No, I'm making a joke, okay? I got 5 sons of battle age, so I don't want them to have to go to war. The point I'm making here is we have too much time on our hands. People sit around and nitpick things that don't amount to anything. It really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. There's places I can go where I'm not going to fit in, where people are going to be prejudiced against me. If I go to a gay bar and I'm straight and I'm allowed in there, do you think that they're going to treat me good? Maybe, maybe not. Many of them will distrust me, especially if they know I'm straight. What's he doing here? Why is he in here? There you go. Does that matter to me? No, it doesn't. Okay, I do remember once I went to a gay lesbian bar one time. The girl I was with wanted to go. So we were in Chicago, we went there. They weren't going to let me in. Now, how is that? Is that prejudice? Is that like, that's racist, isn't it? I mean, according to today's terms, they weren't going to let me in there. But I had to agree to something and then they let me in there. I don't care. What does it matter to me? I understand why they don't want me. It's a lesbian bar for women to be with other women. So, yeah, it's really not a place for men. There weren't hardly any men in there. I explained to them that she was with me and she wanted to go and I was just more or less her chaperone. So I went in there and I don't even remember how long we stayed, but so there's an example there. Do I need to get all butthurt about it and throw a fit and go protest it? No, I don't need to. So I think we all need to lighten up a little bit, live your life, live and let live, and quit trying to push your ideas on people who really don't care or are even interested in what you do with your sexuality or in the bedroom. I don't care. And I don't want you telling me what I should do, nor do I need to tell you that you need to accept me for what I do or how I am. I meet you on the street, we say hi, we talk if we do. I don't care if you're with your boyfriend, girlfriend, and you're great. It doesn't matter to me. And that's the way a lot of people feel. Just live and let live. Now, if you're getting attacked for your choices in life, that's a whole nother story. But it seems to me a lot of the people that are making those choices are attacking other people who, it's like it's being shoved down our throat. I'm sure you felt like something was shoved down your throat in your life. And that's kind of how I feel sometimes about some of these things that they push. They put the things in schools. They're trying to get to teach the kids this. And if you have kids and you're of one of these ideologies, I'll call it that, and you want your kids to be grown up in that, that's your choice. That's your business. But I believe I have the right to raise my children the way I want to raise them. And I certainly don't raise them to hate anybody. I tell them the same thing I told you guys. Everybody has a right, especially in the U.S., to live how they want to live. It's their business, as long as it's not harming anyone else. Now, there are people who believe that certain lifestyles do harm the society. And I'm not the type of person that has the education to decide whether that's true or not. But I know we've always had certain groups of people who did certain things, but it just wasn't so much pushed on other people. And that's what I see now. It's the push for this acceptance, or I don't even really know what it is. But here's what I really believe. When I accept myself, I really don't care what you think about me. It doesn't matter. When I'm fully accepting and loving of myself, what does it matter what you think about me? If I go to get a job at your place and you don't hire me because you don't like my sexuality, I'm probably better off because I don't really want to work for you anyway. If you don't want to hire me because I'm a white, straight male, hey, that's okay with me. I'll find a job somewhere else. I think everything happens for me, not to me. But that's just me. I haven't suffered a lot of prejudice or racism in my life. Some I have, and maybe sometimes I didn't even know. Like I said, when I was younger and I was a hippie, yeah, the rednecks were pretty hard on me. I got beat up, got in fights. I don't know if I ever got beat up too bad. So that was just the way it was. Some of those people were friends today. That's just life. There's no perfect world, but it is a perfect place, the world is, for spiritual growth, for us to grow in character and understanding and learn how to accept others for who they are, whether they accept us or not. All right, that's all I have time for today. If you'd like to get my help personally, marksinspiration.com is my website, or you can contact me directly at marksinspirationalguidance@gmail.com. Follow me on Rumble at marksinspiration. Also, if you're watching this on Instagram, you can find me on YouTube at Mark Daniels, Mark's Inspiration. Take care. Have a wonderful day.